It's a sad day, folks.
If so.
It's a sad day. It's time to leave paradise.
You're not playing with that camera again.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, this is the episode.
This is the most important part. Come
That's
on.
right. This is the episode where we leave. Oh, is our ride here?
I hear somebody. Oh, you got a bottle.
Hello, sir. Good morning. Excellent. We made it to the Fort Lauderdale airport and things are good. All of our luggage is right here. It's, you know, the unfortunate day, but leaving is always that thing that has to happen. So we're going to, I think, check in with our airlines and get ourselves back towards Ontario. So I'll talk to you guys very shortly.
I'm gonna go look for Porter now.
Welcome back to Primo Times, folks. I'm going to promise that this new energized period of videos, the group of videos coming out, will be entertaining and fun to watch. We're heading right now to one of my favorite coffee shops, and we're going to go grab something there, and then we'll start talking about what's coming on Primo Times in the next many weeks and months. Stay with me. Welcome back to Primo Times. I made it back to Canada just fine. Our trip in Florida was amazing, to say the least. And it's quite different now that I'm being shown sitting beside a probably a 10-ton snow pile here at the local Tim Hortons in Canada. So one thing I have to do is bring you clearly up to date with what is coming for me, for the ambulance, the show, the whole bit. What's coming up? And I think the next several months are going to be, all I can say is life-changing or vehicle-changing. There's a lot coming, and I'm not really ready for it just yet. And that's something I need to explain to you, is what's going on. So I'm just going to take a quick minute and run in and grab my my tea and use the washroom, and I'll be right back to speak with you. So hold on just a moment. I'll chat to you very shortly. There we go. I have my steep tea and ready to sample that to make sure it's all good. Oh, perfect. One thing about getting a tea that's too hot is there's only one remedy, and that's just to wait a moment. So I wanted to bring you quickly up to date. And I think if I go in a timeline fashion, that's probably the best. The Florida trip was, truly it was amazing. For my friend Dino to invite Rick and I down there was incredible. Rick was able to help Dino with some work, as you saw on my worst episode ever, which you should go back and take a look at that. It's it's mildly entertaining, and I got to tell you, to be there in person to see these guys work together, oh boy. Anyhow, my personal issue with my prostatitis is still being very painful at times. Even today, it's about 4, maybe 5 on the scale. But I'm able to try and do things. I try and force myself. I try and push myself. At times, it's just too painful, and I really don't want to go too deep into that with you. But because of the location of the prostate, it just makes many things in that region very difficult. And you'll have to use your imagination for that one. At any rate, the trip to Florida, we drove down, and Dino was taking his new Hyundai down there to leave in Florida for many months while they do their back and forth visiting. However, Dino knew that my issue with the prostate would be, there and sort of in your face, if you will. But it worked out really good. We were able to stop and take breaks and do that every hour and a half to maybe 2 hours. At a couple of times they were shorter than an hour and a half, which was a bit of a bother. But the stops still didn't really harm things. We got to Florida in really good time. Driving straight, I think it was, 27 hours? Ow, still hot. Okay, so I was able to get some decent rest on the way, and it wasn't very physical, which helped too. The time in Florida went very well. Also, the weather was amazing. It didn't rain once. We were there for 10 days, and on the 11th day we flew back. But the weather was fine. It wasn't hot summer, but it was way different than what we're getting, up this way here in Canada. So the time was good. Dino got a lot of projects done. Rick helped him out. I did what I could, and some minor things around the place and technical things. I tended to be the technical guy for that trip. And I did force myself to go on a few of their morning walks, which weren't long, about 1.5 kilometers to 2 kilometers or so, taking the short way. And there were washrooms that were spread apart a little bit. There were a couple of panic times there with me, but I was able to get to the washrooms in time, and obviously no big accidents. The Florida trip, the part to Miami, that turned out to be a bit of an emergency because I had to go to the washroom pretty quick and bad, and the city of Miami did not have their washroom units out on the beach. I think they do that in the summertime, but those weren't there for me. So I had to do my swim in the ocean, and that's all I can say about that, because I can't admit to any crimes, either small or major, on my channel. We flew back, and luckily the airplane trip on the way back was pretty decent. I only had to use the washroom just the one time. But, of course, during the approach, the landing process, they ask you not to go to the washroom, put your seatbelt on, stay in your seat. And, of course, that's the time when old Prosty here decides, hey, you got to go to the washroom. It's like, no, we can't do that right now. So that was a bit of a rush. Once we got landed, the door opens, I'm sitting in position. And with my situation, if I sit and don't move at all, either it be the airplane seat, my living room, sometimes a car, although the motion can be a problem, then I'm generally okay. So we get landed, and of course our seats are sort of more towards the back, which I don't know, good or bad, it's where we were. And once the seats started to clear in front of us, and I grabbed my one bag of luggage, my aim was right to the washroom. And again, that's a trick too, because now we're international arrivals coming into Canada, and there is no washroom right immediately once you get out of the plane. Where we were at this airport, you have to go down these large corridors, long. I think it was almost 6 minutes of straight walking before I finally got to the washroom. At any rate, no emergency again. I made it in time, but apparently so did Rick and Dino. They had to visit the washroom pretty quickly at that point as well. So then once back, I had probably close to a week of feeling really good. I started to feel better. I think the relaxing pace in Florida, along with the weather, I mean, it was great, and the location, the place that Dino purchased his home in is a secure community. What do you call that? Anyhow, yeah, a closed small community. They had their own security. They manicured the lawns, as you could see in some of those videos past, were just incredible. It was a beautiful spot. Definitely changed the mood, and I was able to cheer up and relax a bit, and that was fine. It helped out. And then I think I got the flu, or another version of our China virus, something. At any rate, I had about 4 or 5 days of seasick, dizziness, low energy, didn't want to eat, didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to do anything. Of course, I was still happy and cheery. Yeah, right. So that lasted for about 4 or 5 days. Then I started to feel better. I started to get out and do things. But as you can tell, my voice, it's still not quite normal. And it's been that way now for about a week and a half or so. But I'm still trying to get out and move. However, my condition, the prostate, this last few days has thrown some real uncomfortable moments. And, well, I'll tell you, for example, yesterday I was inside the house, and for most of yesterday I was in bed. It just hurt like a monster. It was bad. And anybody that has a friend near you or with you, or maybe it's you, I don't know, that has prostatitis, you know what I mean. It can really, really get bad. It just goes crazy. Not comfortable. Okay, so that's all about Florida. That's all about me. I apologize deeply for not being able to punch out an episode. Number one, I wasn't feeling good. And number two, I didn't know really what to say. I've been feeling bad enough lately that I really have done nothing to the ambulance except keep it running good, do the oil additives, which I have been putting in, the upper cylinder lubricant, as well as fuel system cleaners. I've been adding a bit of those to my fill-ups, driving her nice, showing off a bit in town, making sure I'm seen on the days that I can move. And right now, as I'm sitting in the seat, things are starting to build up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to move comfortably here in the next little while. So what's coming? Well, there are priorities with the ambulance project that are coming up. One thing I could probably do once the weather improves a little bit is the panel on the side. So the switch panel where right beside the turning paramedic seat, we could easily take that panel off, or at least bring it back, disconnect some of the components that aren't required, and prepare it, or prepare a new panel. And let me tell you what I got in mind. What I'm thinking of putting in place is a diamond plate panel to take place of that white panel. What do you think? I like your input. I know that a couple of you were a little bit worried with me as to where I was, why the videos weren't coming out. And I got to tell you, I absolutely was overwhelmed with a very good feeling of companionship and caring when I did get a few emails from some of you wondering where the episodes were, why weren't they coming out. So thank you very much. Incredible to hear from you folks. So I want to hear from you as well. Do you think a diamond plate panel would be nice in that spot? I sort of think so, because number one, it's easy to get, easy to work with. I can't fix this panel. When I pull some of these components out, there are going to be holes that I can't deal with, that, I don't know what I would do in place of them, what I would put there, because some of the switches I have to go in there are not conducive to what is there right now. Shortly right after that, I think would be the diesel heater. And remember, I still have that 2K diesel heater that was in Vanny, and it's just fine. It's perfect. And I have all the components, the wiring, the switches, the control. So that's ready to go once I mount it. And as you know, we have a beautiful mounting spot on the passenger side, the right side of the vehicle, just behind the wheel well mount. There's a beautiful acre of floor space there that we could use for the 2K heater. And get this, my plan is to buy a 6K heater as well, a very large one that Autoterm or Planar puts out. And I'll try and throw an image of it on the screen right here. They're a little pricey, but you know what? The small heater I've had from Autoterm has been amazing, and I like their quality, and I'm going to go with that again. So a 6K heater, I think, is on the way. Probably not a rush. That might happen later this year, but there will be space in that same area right beside the small heater. So I would then have 2 heaters, and the reason is, number one, safety, redundancy. Up here in Canada, it can get to be minus 25, minus 30 many of the nights or days of the year, and you cannot be out somewhere and have one diesel heater and all of a sudden have it not working. Not to mention, you wouldn't want to be out on your back with your hands in the air at minus 25 degrees below freezing, that is, trying to figure out why it's not pumping fuel. That's what's coming. So the panel, the diesel heater, is important. And then I'll go into starting to build the sofa, couch, L unit, and the bed unit above it, the Murphy bed. So folks, I really have to say, I started this channel for a bit of companionship, and I've certainly gotten that. Some of you as viewers are absolutely amazing. I've had input, I've had emails, I've had people post some amazing support on the comments below, and that always helps me. So please, if you're not subscribed, as you can see, I'm mostly a normal person, except that I drive an ambulance everywhere and I have prostatitis. Other than that, hey, I'm just a normal guy. And I can see that the snow has started a little bit, tiny bit, not much. So I'm going to finish my tea. Again, you folks are amazing. Thank you for being here with the channel. This episode was a catch-up and sort of an explanation as to where I've been the last little while. So I think what I'll do on my next episode coming up, I'll probably go deeper onto the panel and show you the panel and describe, and maybe we'll pull it off the wall and see what's behind it. But for now, this episode, I've got to stop because I'm still not 100%. And, along with life's normal concerns and worries, I'm glad I can talk to you guys and spill my guts. And as long as I edit this all correctly, then at least you'll know that I'm still here, and I know you're still here, and I appreciate you being with Primotimes and with myself. So folks, talk to you very soon. Love you very much. Please take care of yourself and take care of someone around you at least once a day. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.